Here's an introductory guide to the Hytale Machinima tool. Once you equip the camera in your hotbar, press N to open the timeline. First thing you'll need to do is create a scene. This will house your camera, entities, actors, reference points, etc. To add a track, click the plus icon. First, let's add a camera to our scene. This will automatically place the camera at your location in the world on frame 0 of your timeline. To move the camera, simply left-click the keyframe to pick it up, and left-click to save its new location. Pressing T before clicking the keyframe will snap you to the view of the camera, where you can then move yourself to change the camera position. You can also shift left click or alt left click on a keyframe to move or rotate the subject respectively. Right clicking while editing a keyframe will cancel the change and revert it back to its original position. To see how it looks, press C to switch to camera view. There are a few ways to add a keyframe. 1. Select the track you want to add a keyframe to, then press X. Continuing to press X will add a keyframe every 30 frames in the timeline, as you can see in the chat. 2. You can press Shift X to add a keyframe at a specific spot in the timeline. 3. You can right-click the timeline. Note if this is an end keyframe, it will copy the keyframe closest to it, meaning it will be in the same location. Trying to select two keyframes that are on top of each other will always select the keyframe earlier in the timeline. If it's in between two keyframes, it will select the point in between them seamlessly. Once we've added at least two keyframes, we can press P to play our timeline. Next, let's add an entity into our scene. This will place our model into the world of where you as your character currently are. We can change this by right-clicking the track title, edit settings, and changing the model ID, or we can change our character model, then select Use Current Player Model. We can use the same keyframe technique as before to make our character move in the timeline and edit them how we like. There are a limited number of animations we can currently give to our prisoner actors. In the timeline, select your entity track and go to Events, Add Event, then Animation. We can then edit the event to make our entity do a specific action. Things like walk, run, fall, sliding, and interacting all work under movement, while things like laughing and waving work under emote. You can find all the animations in the Asset Editor folder. Once we save our changes, our entity will now do that animation once it reaches the point in the timeline. Next is the player actor. This controls where you as the player will be looking/moving. Whenever you play your timeline, you will be forced into following the keyframes you created for this track. Item actor is the same, however actually has a drop-down menu for every item, though it doesn't have a search function and it's not labeled alphabetically. Lastly is reference type. This can be used as a point for your camera to track. Make your keyframes like normal, then in your camera track, add event, target event. Select the reference point and save changes. Now your camera will follow that reference point. You can switch between multiple cameras easily. Select a key point on a camera track, add event, camera, edit, and set to activate. On playback, the view will change now to this camera track once it hits this keyframe. And that's the basics of Hytale Machinima. There's currently a lot of bugs and jankiness with it, as well as much needed quality of life updates, but the fundamentals are there and there's many fun things to do. Some other quick tips are, type .mac FPS and a value to change the playback speed of your scene. Certain particles work as keyframes, but just like animations can bug out and remain there permanently. Certain commands also work. Select a track and type .mac Bezier for a more smooth and customizable keyframe timeline. You can change the FOV on your cameras for different cinematic looks from 1 to 179. 0 or 180 plus will just crash the game. Pressing I toggles the display visibility. Pressing Y will cycle through editing a single keyframe, moving all of a particular actor's keyframes, or moving every single keyframe in that scene. Use your left and right arrow keys to scrub through your timeline in-game, and many more features to come. Hopefully. Please, Simon, let us zoom in and out of the timeline, please!